Hello, welcome to A Traditionalist Catholic. My name is Billy Sewer. Um, it has been 2 days since President Trump has been inaugurated, January 20th, 2025. And I've been thinking about that today while I was at the plant, going over some things. And I wanted to post a video today where I share a little bit of my reactions, a little bit of a takes here and there about what I've seen so far. I remember watching the recorded inauguration speech. I felt relief and joy, the sense of it's over. The Biden regime is over. And it got to the point where my youngest son was like watching me as I was watching the speech, and he's like, "Dad, are you okay? Dad, are you okay?" I'm all right. Just I'm happy to hear all these things. It was almost like sometimes I wondered a bit today what my reaction watching the speech. Is that like what the Romanians and the East Germans must have felt in 1989 when at the fall of communism in Eastern Europe? Is that what they is that what they felt? And then the flood of executive orders. Just oh my gosh, I love just about everything coming out of those coming out of the White House now. But a funny thing, my youngest son had said to me yesterday, "Dad, I actually want to pay attention to what the president says now." And I'm like, "Yeah, I understand, son." And got me to thinking, look, I can't remember the last time that I actually looked forward to hearing what the president was going to say. That it's with the expectation that it's likely to be something good, like executive orders, like U.S. policy. There are only two genders, the ending of government censorship of free speech, the end of the weaponization of the government Department of Justice against political opponents. Yeah, I got a bit emotional seeing that, and then hearing the president talk about making his case about Greenland, making his case later on in an interview while he was answering questions while he was signing executive orders. He was making a case about taking control of the Panama Canal again. That it was a mistake by Carter. It was a mistake by Carter to give it to Panama, and now the Chinese communists are controlling the canal. In U.S. shipping, including U.S. Navy ships, are being mistreated at the canal, and that canal was built before World War I for the U.S. Navy to be able to transfer ships from one ocean to the other without having to go all the way around the tip of South America. Obvious strategic importance, and of course there's the commercial importance as well. It makes an interesting point about taking the canal back. Another thing I saw on the speech was he was talking about acquisition of territory, acquiring territory, acquiring territory. America first is the basis of our policies. going forward in foreign policy. And it struck me, I haven't heard a president talk like such a nationalist in my lifetime. I don't remember. And going back in history, and I'm a history nerd. I don't. When was the last time a president spoke like this? Was it Teddy Roosevelt back in the days before World War One? And this is a good thing. We've got a president talking about putting America first, and then of course the immigration thing, and then a question he was asked while signing executive orders. He answered, "I have no problem with legal immigration," and then went further on it. We need more people, and it wasn't just the tech engineers. It was like maitre d's and whoever else to come in. So, I mean, these are good things. These are good things. The only issue I have so far is just what's going on with Project Stargate. I have reservations about that. The ideas of AIs cranking out all these whiz-bang doodads and gadgets and cures for cancer or what have you. For me, the problem would be one, AIs. Second, I grew up in the 1980s. Watching Terminator movies and reading cyberpunk science fiction like William Gibson's the Cyberspace trilogy. Watching the movie War Games. Would you like to play a game? Remember that one? I don't think they're talking hard AI like that. I think they're talking just like chatbots or Chat GPT or something a bit more what we have currently, not full size. I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave. Kind of AI. I'm thinking, like I said, like Chat GPTs or the chatbots at Google, Facebook, or whoever else, right? I don't know enough about the open source AI crowd thing in order to speak intelligently on that, so I'm not going to touch that right now. And of course, the problem is garbage in, garbage out. What kind of information are going to be fed to these AIs in Stargate, and who's going to approve and determine what information is going to go into these AIs? Because it depends upon who's running it, who's programming it, who's feeding data into it, and what is that data? Because, of course, garbage in, garbage out. You put in garbage into a computer, it's just going to spit garbage out, because basically if your information is bad to begin with in the first place, you're going to spit out bad information later. And the results are going to get flawed. Excuse me. Here's my other thing, though, is that let's not get ahead of ourselves. That's what I'm thinking to myself. All these executive orders are awesome, great, but there's already reports of like lawsuits against some of the executive orders. Adam Schiff is already talking about how already voicing opposition to the restrictions on the birthright citizenship. So I'm seeing right now what's going on with President Trump and executive orders is he's putting in a lot of good executive orders, good strong start to his presidency. But here's the thing: the Dems are going to push back. So what I'm looking at is I'm not going to doom or pill about what might happen. Honestly, honestly, it may just be that their power's broken. They're in the opposition. Not many people want to listen to them, so they might not be able to say and do much. They're probably playing defense right now, but still, already got the lawsuits coming up. We don't know what else they're going to do. So I'm going to wait and see mode right now. What comes into the Dems. I'm loving what President Trump is putting out. I got reservations on Stargate, and I'm waiting to see what the Dems will do. Again, I'm not going to doom or pill. I'm just going to simply just say, look, I'm gonna wait and see, because there's going to be some sort of pushback, and I want to see what. I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen. Excuse me. And I want to give out a suggestion. Later on, I'm going to post on my YouTube channel, the community section. I want to post a picture of Father Ripperger's new consecration prayer. He's composed a consecration prayer with some binding elements in it for the consecration of all those who will govern our country, and bind any spiritual or human forces that would that would want to inflict harm or evil on those who would do good in their governance of of our nation. So so I would urge people, please pray for President Trump, pray for Vice President Vance, pray this consecration prayer that Father Ripperger wrote, because I agree with Father Ripperger a lot of what he was saying. What he's saying, I think we're seeing a forces arrayed in revolt against God. So far, they're playing. They seem to be playing within. So far, they seem to be playing within the rules. I don't hear any noise about Antifa or BLM causing any problems so far. Mostly peaceful, air quotes, mostly peaceful problems. But we'll see what we'll see. And another thing I would suggest that we don't get that we treat the liberals that we know, that we work with mercy. 1937, Spanish refugees fleeing Spain during the Spanish Civil War. It got pretty nasty in there. The communists were persecuting the church violently. There were martyrdoms. Bishops, priests, seminarians, nuns, lay people. And these Spanish refugees came to the Vatican. Pope Pius XI had addressed them and said, I'm paraphrasing right now, is that we must love our enemies, even though it can be hard to do so. We must still love our enemies. And in this case, when we're dealing with the liberals, the rank and file liberals that I'm familiar with, maybe a lot of us are familiar with, are just well-meaning people who are gaslit about what the Dems are doing, but what the Dems have been saying for the last God knows how long years. So let's act with some restraint and mercy, which is defined in Father John Hardin's Modern Catholic Dictionary as kindness and forgiveness. And then looking at the higher ups, the real drivers, like the ones that you look in their eyes and you know, okay, they're fully committed. They're not going to budge out of that. We still treat them with respect and we still treat them with respect and Christian charity. But in those cases of Dems like Biden, Harris, Pelosi, we pray for their conversion while we continue being good Catholics. We stand up for the truth, and we simply practice the faith, passing it on to our kids. Because the real point that you and I have as lay people, or like I said in an earlier in my I Have Returned video, is look, we're not princes in the halls of power. We're guys working at, we're husbands and dads working at the plant, homeschooling moms, housewives, teachers. We're regular lay people who just go to mass and just want to be Catholic, want to save our souls and help save the souls of those we love, especially those under our care, our children. And we want to support our priests, the good priests who are speaking with the voice of Christ. So we pray for President Trump, Vice President Vance, their families. We pray for our leaders, the conversion of the sinners and the wicked, and the guidance and protection of those who are seeking to do good in their governance. And again, I would please pray the consecration prayer that Father Rupert Greer has composed for as I mentioned, the one I mentioned earlier. They will need it. I'm fully expecting that the forces of hell are lined up, and they're going to try to obstruct. And God knows what else they're going to do. I'm not going to speculate right now, but what they might do in order to defend, in order to hold what they've gained so far, or just simply outright defeat Trump in some way. So, also, and in the light of what happened in the inauguration and the few days afterwards, I'm seeing that the progressive prelates, the basically liberal prelates or modernists, like Cardinal Supish, Cardinal McElroy, they're already lining up against Trump. Because pretty much we already know that cardinals, like prelates like Cardinal Supish, Cardinal McElroy, they're no friends of Trump. They're not faithful Catholics. They're Judases. So I've decided that I'm going to start praying. I mean, I already pray for the Pope, the bishops, and the priests. 1 hour at noon in the divine office. At least one decade in the daily rosary. And I'll probably add some I'll probably add the collect from the prayers after Law Mass. The pour forth we beseech thee, O Lord, for the conversion of sinners and the liberty and exaltation of the church. Plan on doing that. So, to recap, I'm relieved. I'm happy. I'm hopeful. I actually look forward to hearing what the president says. I'm not dreading hearing what the president's saying anymore. I've got my reservations about Project Stargate. I've got some concerns about what the Dems may do. Unfortunately, we've got liberal prelates that are lining up against him. So I'm also looking at, well, how about we start praying for the conversion of the liberal prelates, and the protection and guidance of the good ones, Bishops Schneider, Strickland, Cardinal Burke, Cardinal Sarah. They're going to need it, because I'm hoping, I'm hoping that we're going to see some good in the church soon, because ever since Fiducia Supplicans dropped, I've been seeing hopeful signs that Catholics are waking up to what's going on. Bishops, cardinals are standing up. I'm seeing, like, say, Candace Owens, she became Catholic. Tammy Peterson, she became Catholic. Jordan Peterson has said, Jesus is God. We're seeing these hopeful signs that God is moving among us. So that's where my hope is that God is moving among us. We pray for our president. We pray for the vice president. We pray for we pray for the conversion of sinners in the government and in the church. We pray for the protection and guidance of those who govern us in the state, those who in the good princes in the church, like Cardinal Burke, Bishops Strickland and Schneider. Pray for your priests. Pray for your bishop. Pray for the Pope. So I'm hopeful for the future. And I'm happy to see President Trump in the White House, because that day of the inauguration, at lunch in the break room, after saying sext, which is the noon office in the 1961, the traditional breviary, I prayed the 1961 with the Paters, Aves, and Credos as per the Pre-55. I prayed the Te Deum in the break room. Just, I was thankful to God for what had happened. So, please, thank you for bearing with me. If you'd watched all the way through, thank you for bearing with my difficulties in keeping on track and maybe going off on a tangent or stuttering. It's a work in progress here about how to find my voice on this channel. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for bearing with me, and God bless you all, and Deo gratias for the victory of President Trump and his inauguration. He's not perfect. He's not even a Catholic yet. But God willing, he'll become a Catholic and save a soul. So thank you very much. God bless you all, and see you next time.